Make sure the levels is right. You know what I mean? We live on both platforms. Let's get it. Yes. Yes, 2 times. I know the vibes though. She like, ooh la la, are we winning? They go, ooh la la, are we winning? She like, ooh la la, are we winning? They go, ooh la la, are we winning? Okay, ooh la la. She like, ooh la la, are we winning? They go, ooh la la. She like, ooh la la. Looking for M's like I lost a friend. Hop up out the bed like, where's the bread? What it do, people? You're now tuned in. Popovich TV. We live, we rolling, we unscripted, we authentic, that feeling. Back up in here one more again. So if it's your first time, then the question is, where you been? Over here on my side, we deal with sports, hip-hop, entertainment, interviews sometimes. When people don't be acting flaky, Popovisms 101, and of course, motivation. So before you leave the page, I'm going to need you to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, smash that notification bell, so when I upload these videos, you get alerted. And if it's not your first time and you've been rocking with the channel, good looking, but you know how I do. You know how I plainly start my show. Tony, there was no other way. We in the end game now. And we is in the end game, people. And we in the end game because I ain't been on this motherfucker in a minute. Shouts to me for taking a little break, for observing the fast. It was Ramadan, 29 days this year, not 30 days. And then for those that don't know, because Ramadan, or the month of Ramadan, obviously is celebrated and observed by, Muslims all around the world, and even non-Muslims alike nowadays. It's more like a fad now for the people that's not, you know what I mean? Like, for the people that's not Muslim, they like more so, doing it because a lot of brothers be doing it. They want to be in the loop. They want to be in the know. And what people may not know is after Ramadan, after the 29 or 30 days, depending on the sighting of the moon, that's what the Islamic calendar goes by, the sighting of the moon. The next month after Ramadan is the month of Shawwal. And the month of Shawwal is recommended, highly suggested, that you fast 6 days. And 30 and 6 is like a circle, like 360. If it's accepted, it's like you fasted for the whole year. So after Ramadan, which ended last Thursday or so like that, we had to end on Friday. Friday's the blessed day. I went right into my 6 days on Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday was my last day. So I was going to do the show last night, but I got into some other shit, and through the graces of God, we back. Yeah, kids, so shout outs to me for, being back. So let's get into this. I got time today. Let's be clear. We're gonna do a long show. We're gonna be here for a minute because I got time today. Let's get right to it though. See what we rocking with. First things first. We in the end game cause Don Lemon. Do you ever think about when you out of here? Your record deal, video, out of here. Mercedes-Benz, Range Rover, all that shit is out of here. And, if you don't know, you've been under a rock, obviously Don Lemon, one of the, well-known anchors, CNN, anchors for CNN for some years now. I don't know how many years, but he's been on the news for quite a while and also on the morning show, right? So he's out of here. He's fired, Donald Trump. He's Donald Trump, then you're out of here. If you're on Instagram, you probably can't see that because the screen is small, but we live on YouTube as well. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. He's fired. And maybe allegedly kind of sort of he's fired because he had some comments about his co-host being past their prime, like you passed your prime. And maybe a couple of other things. I think they just was tired of him. But why I want to talk about Don Lemon in the opening is because, one, do you really ever think about when you out of here, talking about as far as what you do for livelihood, you know, what you bring to the, all the things that come with breathing air and giving thanks to the Most High. A lot of us don't like to think about death or the worst case scenarios because, like, who wants to think about that, right? Like, you're thinking about when you're going to die, so you got to get your finances in order, you got to get your life insurance in order, you got to get all your grown men, adult shit in order, or you should, because you never know. Like, if we all knew what date we was checking out, a lot of us probably would get our shit in order. And maybe a lot of us won't. Like, you know what I mean? If you had 24 hours to live, what would you do? Where would you go? Who would you see? Who would you screw? You know, like the Locks reference. And who would you want to notify? Or would your ass deny it if your ass about to die? Well, I got news for you. We all gonna die. We don't know how, we don't know when, we don't know what place. And it's said in the, you know, in the Islamic, obviously in the Islamic belief, you know, just say for instance, like, you scared of taking a plane. Like, you like Mr. T from the A-Team, right? He never wanted to take the plane, so they had to drug him, put some shit in his drink, you know what I mean? Put something on him, knock him out. Then he wake up, he's somewhere, he was on the plane he didn't want to be. Say you afraid of flying, so you don't fly. You're never gonna die flying because you're afraid of flying. So for you, instead of flying to Florida, you drive to Florida, but on your way driving to Florida, that's where you have the car crash, and that's where you die. And that's where, do you ever think about when you out here? So as it relates to death, it also relates to black folks, right? And we are 6 minutes and 7 minutes into the show, and but you black. Just because you black and you got a couple dollars, you're a little educated, you made it, Mama I made it, Jay-Z. It's a Jay-Z reference, Mama I made it. That don't make you exempt from getting your ass handed to you. And so I think he got a little too big for his britches. You know, even if he felt like his co-host was past her prime, and she probably was. And past your prime don't mean that you can't age gracefully. I just did a video, go look at my shorts. I had the afro, I was letting my shit woof out for Ramadan. I wasn't going nowhere, I wasn't out and about. I wasn't shaking out, so there was no need for me to cut my hair. And real quick, just for those that's not in the know, you see me fresh shaved now, looking like 25, you know what I mean? This how I was looking. This how I was looking, you know what I mean?
Same way you always cut it. I know
you seen it on Instagram, you seen it on YouTube. Right? I was looking like George Jefferson, a.k.a. Wolverine.
I was going for George Jefferson, a.k.a. Wolverine.
You still can age gracefully, man or woman. So I think he just was meaning like, sound like red pill rhetoric, where niggas ain't hollering like when you was younger, and you can't do certain things or get away with certain things that you used to. We all go through that. Some of us go through it a little quicker than others, depending on your lifestyle. If you always in the club trying to meet out, like you back up in the club trying to meet out, and that's a Kanye reference. You know what I mean? Then you may have worn yourself down a little too quickly. If you in your early 40s, late 30s, and you looking like you 50, you looking like you passed your prime. And that's what he basically said. Like, you passed your prime. Maybe because it was to the white woman, they got rid of him. Maybe it was because they just was tired of him and they want to get somebody fresh and new. And so he's out of here. So this is what NWA, one of my favorite rap groups, what album was that shit? Niggas for Life. I'm a nigga, he's a nigga, she's a nigga. Wouldn't you like to be a nigga too? And that might strain your ears a little bit if you like one of those pro-black, and I am pro-black. Oh, but you black. First, before anything else. But some people subscribe to the word, some people don't. I respect both parties. Then you put the S on it, the Z on it, you put the W. You know what I mean? You finagle it, fondle it, flip it and bounce it, and you're gonna come out in your own way. And you know, for whatever it's worth, most older folks of the yesteryear, they don't subscribe to the word. NWA said, if you're a rich nigga, you're a rich nigga. If you're a poor nigga, you're a poor nigga. If you're an educated nigga, you just an educated nigga, but you never stop being a nigga. Right, it's plain to see you can't change me because I'm going to be a nigga for life. So I say that to say for Don Lemon, and we off him now. He got too big for his britches, or, you know, you see the Kanyes or you see the Kyries, right? They try to check you. They try to G-check you. They always remind you that no matter how far up on that ladder you think you getting, you're still a nigga. You got money, you just a rich nigga. If you're educated, you're just an educated nigga in some circles. So that's the point being there, right? Let's talk about this real quick. And while we about to talk about this, let's give New York a real quick shout out, because the Knicks, right? Like, New York Knicks, my Knickerbockers. You know what I mean? New York all day, even though this is the Giants. But I'm from New York. If you seen my NBA video about the playoffs, and don't talk to me about playoffs, I just hope we can win another game and then another game. You know what I mean? I had the Knicks beating Cleveland. I didn't have them winning 4-1, but I had them winning the series. And let's put some respect on this beat real quick. Shout out to my nigga Bombs, you know what I mean? I keeps it going. New York number one. Keep it going. Keep it going. Playoffs round 2 is starting tonight. Denver hosting Phoenix Suns. But real quick though, I just want to talk about this. So on the back end, it's like, oh nah, the game's already played. You didn't say that. So this is the only reason why I'm referencing this. I had the Knicks beating Cleveland, and this is why. Donovan Mitchell, we was supposed to get you. Shoulda, coulda, woulda, we might have had you. You know what I mean? The girl that got away. And you think you look, you know what I mean, good and all that, but she played you. We were supposed to get him. We didn't get him, but we did better without him. In fact, we beat you, and that's you. The reason why I had the Knicks is, number one, we gritty, like New York, like the city. We grimy, we low down, gritty, like the Onyx reference. We play good D. We coach hard, and we not scared. That's number one. Number two, Donovan Mitchell has yet to proven in the playoffs that he can get it done. That's why Shaq, Hall of Famer, 4-time champion, is like, I don't know if he's going to be able to get it done. And in the regular season, you that dude. When it comes to the playoffs, granted, he did have Rudy Gobert. He did have an older Mike Conley. He didn't really have he had Joe Ingles. You could say he didn't really have a great team, but they end up having a good record at the end of the season and having good seeding in the playoffs. But I didn't think he would win. The other 2 series that I got wrong, because I got the Knicks right, was Milwaukee Bucks, Giannis. What are we doing, Greeny in the morning? I had Giannis in the winning 4-1, 4-2. Turns out Miami won 4-1, and they went out in bad fashion, if you ask me. Obviously, Giannis got hurt in the first game, like the first 8 minutes. You can excuse that. They came back game 2, beat the brakes off Miami. Looked like, beat the brakes off him. So he doesn't come back in game 3, even though they say, maybe kind of, sort of, he could have came back. But he didn't. So you lose game 3. You come back game 4. You're not in playoff shape. And it's like, playoffs? Don't talk to me about playoffs. I just hope we can win a game. You got to be in game shape. You got to be in rhythm. You got to be ready to shake, rattle, and roll when you come to the playoffs. You just can't jump in like you're playing with some boys in the park. And even though I have Giannis as the best player in the league, let's full transparency, full disclosure. And they got their ass whipped. The other series, and we're going to get off the playoffs. Now, I'm going to just tell you who I think going to win these next games because I got the board wrong. Far as the next series, which is the Knicks in Miami, I'm not being a homer. The Knicks beat them 4 straight in the regular season. And although we have instances where a team could beat the team that they playing in the playoffs 4-0, 4-3, then lose in the playoffs, I don't think the Knicks are scared of Miami, so that helps. They lost Tyler Hero, and I'm going to shock y'all. I'm going to go out on a limb, even though I'm not going to bet on this, so let's be clear. I'm not putting my money I ain't do this in a while. Because that's your money, son. I'm not putting my money on the Knicks to get to the finals, but on some FanDuel shit, some fandom shit, I think the Knicks going to the finals. And I had Boston at first. But I think the Knicks match up well with Miami, so I think they're going to beat Miami. I got Boston still beating Philly, even though Trae Young hit him with the, made him play the extra game. I got Boston winning. Now let's go to the West. Kawhi Leonard, he's always hurt. Let's just call it a buck. He's always hurt at the most unopportune, like at the most inappropriate time. Like, doggy, you getting paid millions, granted, you worth it. I think Kawhi Leonard is, I was going to say top 5 dead or alive, and that's just off one LP. He definitely top 10. When he's healthy, he's definitely top 7, 8 players. He might be top 5. But the injuries just keep coming. It's like the hits, they just keep coming. You know what I mean? You never know when he's going to be available, when he's not going to be available. He was hurt after game 2, and the Phoenix Suns, they did away with them. Now they got to play Denver. Denver's actually hosting tonight. Let's just check real score so we can see what time it is. Like, you know what I mean? We live action. We watching the games as it's live. You know what I mean? Oh, shit. Denver's up 66-51. I'm on Sports app, CBS Sports app. And we got Denver for the series. We got Denver going to the next round. We got the Lakers beating whoever comes out of the Sacramento and Golden State series. But just so we clear, I got Golden State winning. I thought it would go 6 or 7. And I think, and it obviously it's going 7. But I got Golden State winning. Let's get back to the topics though, right? Seeing how we talking about the NBA. Let's talk about Ime Udoka, right? Nia Long. I love you, Nia Long. I mean, I think you age like fine wine, being how we talking about aging and looking good when we passed our prime. I love Nia Long. Obviously, one of her best roles to me, and when she was looking fine and dandy, everything sweet like candy, was in Boys in the Hood, was in Love Jones, like, you know what I mean? Mwah, mwah, mwah. And who said, I think Charlamagne the God, like the lesser charge, Charlamagne, that part. He was like, she's like vintage pussy, vintage box, sorry. Kids, tune off, you're not supposed to be watching this channel. She like a vintage box, like, you know what I mean? And if you know, you know. But anyway, you know, I was his wife, fiance. He was dealing with her. He was the coach of the said Boston Celtics, who we just was talking about. And for the record, I had Boston and Lakers in the finals. And I had Boston winning. I might have to alter that. It might be the Lakers and the Knicks. And I got the LeBron probably winning his 5th ring. I'm not gassed because they beat Memphis. I believe sports is rigged. Sports is manipulated. And I got LeBron right now. That's just what it is. I got LeBron. Anyway, Ime Udoka is, he's back. Like, I'm back, bitches. And it's a celebration. And a lot of people thought that he wouldn't coach again. I didn't think that. We know what happened with Malika Andrews, with Stephen A. And we're not here to accuse women. I still can't believe that shit. That shit is one for the ages. Like, shout out to Malika Andrews, and that's you. You know what I mean? And where did all the good men go? And I'm being funny, but I'm totally not. I'm totally not. I'm being funny, but I'm totally not. You know, that exchange she had with Stephen A. And then she was bringing up the new coach of the Boston Celtics in his past history when he was 17. Like, she was doxing that nigga. Like, you know, because when he was 17, he was accused of, you know, domestic violence, and he pleaded to the lesser charge. You can't make this shit up. So anyway, he's back. He's the new coach of the, peace, my brother. He's the new coach of the Houston Rockets, and salute to him. Like, you know what I mean? Shout outs to that brother. I never was one who thought that he wouldn't coach again. I never thought that. And this is the message. It's a few things that we can learn from this. Here's the first one. If you're very talented at what you do, like if you were the best around, and nothing's ever gonna keep you down, you the best around, and nothing's ever good, right? Like from Karate Kid, you the best around. It's gonna be hard for people to keep you down. Like even the haters, the real haters, and the invisible haters. Because a lot of y'all don't really got no haters. You just saying that because you think it sounds good. And I'm being funny, but I'm really not. A lot of y'all don't have no haters. You don't have people really hating on you, praying and praying on your downfall, but every time you hit the ground, right, you bounce up like ground ball. Right? I'm not talking to y'all. Talking to the people that's really talented at what they do. So here's it is, he came in, and even though he was like an assistant, he bounced around San Antonio, Greg Popovich. Shout out to Greg Popovich, who I think is one of the best coaches in NBA history ever. Him, Mike Brown, Allen Iverson, coach, etc. You know what I mean? People was like, oh, you know, because he was with that white woman and the subordinate and all that, and they got him up out of here. And right, do you ever think about when you out of here, your record deal, video, your NBA career, coaching gig, that shit is out of here. He came back because he's great at what he does. For the regular folks, just like how we point out to the ladies, like where the ladies at? Where the ladies at? We point out, or I point out to y'all, that you can't do what Nicki Minaj do. You can't do what Oprah Winfrey do. You can't do what Lori Harvey does. You can't do that. You're just a regular degular, and you can look good. So this doesn't mean looks. So get out your feelings, have several seats, listen to what I'm saying. You can look good. You can look fucking amazing. Your box could be delicious, right? I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the resources, the financial means to be in these circles, to move in these crowds and be able to dictate shit based off of that. The regular degular person can't do that. I can't do that. You can't base your life off what they do. You have to base your life off what's reality and the results that you're getting, right? That's number one. So let's be clear. Now, back to Ime Udoka. He's great at what he does. He's fucking great, right? He took the Celtics to the finals. They lost to the Golden State Warriors. And he's a hot commodity. If it wasn't for the scandal and him not knowing how to have, or dare I say, exercise dick discipline, DD, right? He would have been good. But because he let his little head, and like Grand Pooba said, I think with the brain, not the one behind the zipper, I'm living kind of good. Somebody let his drag tripper. My landlord, like Robert, did his show with the Cobra. When I'm finished like this, I'll be paid like Oprah. He thought with the little head and not with the big head. And some say he fumbled the bag, he lost Nia Long, etc. We don't know if he lost it or not. Maybe they'll work it out. And I root for families to stay whole, because there's nothing fun about going through a divorce. If you're a child, if you're a man, if you're a woman, as I once was, if you rock with the channel and you've been rocking with the channel, then I appreciate you. Salute to you. Salute for fucking with the real, right? Like over here on Popovich TV, we live, we rolling, we unscripted, we authentic. That feeling. That's why you rock with me. We authentic that feeling. That's, you can't buy that. You can't purchase that. You can't try that shit on and think it's going to fit you. No, that just has to be your makeup and who you are, and that's you, and you're going to come out in your own way like Ray and Ghost off the Purple Tape. When you fit that mold, people are going to want you. People are going to gravitate towards you. But for the regular degular, you can't go fucking up the bag, right? Like Jonathan Majors, I did a video about him the first time, then the second time, and now he looking a little shaky, a little nervous, a little shaky, a little nervous. You might be out of here. Like all that MCU and your Marvel Universe playing Kane the Conqueror, all that shit might be dead. Because you place yourself in a position where somebody else can have dictatorship over how you running your shit. Let me repeat that. Somebody else having dictatorship over how you run your shit, but you also can replace shit with ship. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you the king of the castle. He did that. Ime Udoka, by dealing with a subordinate, dealing with maybe the vice president of the Boston Celtics, and clapping them cheeks and not keeping it business, but mixing business with pleasure. So now he's the coach of the Houston Rockets, and salute to him. Salute to him. I think he's going to do well as the new head coach of the Houston Rockets. And also, this is another thing, right? For athletes. We just had the NBA draft and draft day. Johnny Manziel. 5 years later, how am I the man still? Like, draft day. A. Wiggins, fuck that other side, bitch. We stayed winning. Like, you know I had to do it for you. You know I had to do it for you. We just had the NFL draft. Day 1, day 2, day 3. You know, this shit is a never-ending story. And salute to all the young brothers that accomplish what they set out to accomplish. Even if you get picked number, what they call the last person that get picked in the draft? The fuck they call the last person? Mr. Irrelevant. You Mr. Irrelevant. You the last person that get picked in the draft. And who cares if you the last person, the last of the last? Like how one I forget what rapper said. You the man that stand next to the man that's next to the man that's next to the man. Cool, I'm cool with that. Men, we get told where we stand earlier on in life. Our value is now placed on sometimes you can have the six pack, you can have the chiseled jaw, you know, you could be a freak of nature and your value will increase. It will have more value than somebody that doesn't look said part. And this is just genetics, you know what I mean? But most of the time, and oftentimes, even if you have genetics and the six pack and all that shit, you're told from a very young age where you stand at and where you rank in the pecking order of other men and in life in general. Let's be clear. It ain't no the makeup changing and the pretty privilege and the fat ass and, you know, having you a woman's perspective. And, you know, obviously we know that it's pros and cons. It's double standards. Some in men favor, some in women favor when it comes to the double standards. So real quickly, we see prominent athletes, Terrell Owens, the Michael Vicks, whoever it is that you could think of. When you good or you fucking great at what you do, of course, you're going to be an exception to that said rule, whatever that rule may be. You're going to be an exception to that. The point that I want to get across is if you're not exceptional at what you do, you may be good, you may be better than some shit. You might be better than most. Excuse me. But you're not the best around, and nothing's ever going to keep you. Not the best. So therefore, your margin of error is a little smaller. And just look around. The Tiger Woods, you crash. You know, when he was allegedly cheating on his then wife, they wrecked him through the coals. If you just a regular guy, a regular chick, you're not going to get away with something that somebody that's exceptional. What Hov said? He said, I ain't no ordinary nigga. Look around, this ain't what ordinary gets you. It ain't extraordinary figures. I'm an extraordinary nigga. Like before my name became Jigga, I had that thing, I was sitting on slippers. Like, I'm not the regular degular, so don't you dare compare me to the regular, right? Like, you know what I mean? And it sounds quite confusing for you to remember the originator, and boy do I hate her, perpetrator, but I'm much greater. That's a Big Daddy Kane reference. You're not the regular degular. So you're going to get peripheral, you're going to get exceptional treatment. Kawhi Leonard, right? Like, get the private jet. You get to sit by yourself. You get to come in when you want to. You get to do the things that the regular person doesn't get to do. So when you think of Ime Udoka, getting the next job. And let's be clear, they wanted him, and this is the Giants, but they wanted him, he was supposed to be the next coach of the Brooklyn Nets. Brooklyn Zoo, they wanted him. But it was a lot of backlash. People was like, yeah, you know, he was bowling and hired help and, you know, whatever, VIP, vice president, etc. He was busting them cheeks, and Scorpios, we the best. So they dubbed him. But then Houston like, nah, we taking him. Randy Moss, know what I mean, another great. When you know, he pulled his pants down, or he act like he pulled his pants down after he caught the interception, they fined him. When you're exceptional at what you do, certain things will be forgiven. Certain things will be overlooked. Right, like, you know what I mean? Like certain things, you Tony Ayo, like, you know what this is. One shot, one kill, what's the deal? You're going to get overlooked. And do you know who you with? Right, it's 50 Cent G-Unit back on that gangster shit. But if you regular, you just barely making the cut, you out of here. If you do anything to violate the rules, to violate the protocols, to do anything that piss somebody the fuck off, you out of here. So that's the only thing where I want to emphasize and bring to light, like shine a light on it. You can't do what somebody exceptional can do. It just doesn't work that way. For instance, if you're ugly, and I didn't do the survey, but I watched The Color Purple, and I know he was like, you sure is ugly. You sure is ugly. And for a lot of people, that's you. You're regular, and you average at best. Rest in peace to the self-proclaimed godfather of YouTube. You know what I mean? And that's Kevin Samuels. You're not Beyonce. You're not Kelly Rowlands. You're not, you know what I mean? Whoever you think is beautiful, you're not that. You're regular. But in this day and age, in this day and time, in the era that we currently living in the modern world, everybody's a fucking dime. Everybody's beautiful. You could be 300 pounds. You could be short as fuck. Whatever it is, you the golden girl and you're that bitch. You're a boss bitch. You're whatever it is. You're a fucking unicorn, right? I'm being funny, but I'm not. But in real life, you're not getting in the club. Like, how you gonna hate from the outside the club? You can't even get in. You're not getting in on a pretty girl pass. You're gonna be on the outside looking in. So for the fellas, especially for the fellas, because we know certain things is double standards. Some work in our favor, some don't. Don't think you could do what Ime Udoka could do, Allen Iverson, Kobe Bryant. You know, don't think you can do what the top of the top. Don't think you can do what they do, get away with it, and you're going to have the same outcome and the same, you know what I mean, things fall in your favor. You're not. You're probably not going to get the offer to Brooklyn Nets. You're not probably going to get the job to the Houston Rockets. You're probably going to be sitting on the sideline for a long time, and the music will be playing. I got no time for fake niggas. Just sipping Cristal with these. Like, you're going to be on the sidelines, you know what I mean? But let's get to some other shit. Let's get to, talked about Ime Udoka. Let's get to Jamie Foxx. And do you ever think about when you out of here, your record deal, video out of here, Mercedes-Benz, all that shit out of here, your acting career out of here, right? And before we get to Jamie Foxx, if you didn't catch the beginning of the live, we talked about death, how a lot of us don't like to talk about that. Who want to talk about death? It ain't nothing. There's nothing nice about that. There's nothing sexy. You don't get a rush from talking about death. That's why a lot of people don't have life insurance. That's why a lot of people don't handle adult business, in my opinion, when it comes to leaving this earth. And we never know when we're going to be out of here. And Tony, there was no other way. Right, we in the end game now. We just recently lost Jerry Springer. We lost the lady who, I don't know her name, and fuck her name, right? The lady who accused Emmett Till, right? The young brother, whistling at her, hollering at her, and they did him dirty. Her family members killed him, you know what I mean? And oh, but you black, right? Jamie Foxx, for whatever reason, he's spinning in a clip. Aside from being sickly, having, according to reports, a brain aneurysm, And I know, you know, a few people who passed from that. So if you were experiencing the symptoms or what they say is the telltale signs that you possibly could be in, you know, in lot for or next in line for one of these severe, you know, health conditions, then go to the hospital. I told y'all, if y'all follow the channel on my live, I had an abdominal strain. I thought it was a tear or a hernia. It wasn't. All praises due. And you know, if you black and you a man, you normally don't go to the hospital. I know for me, being in prison, y'all know if you follow the channel, good looking. Y'all know I'm not an angel. I've been up top a few times. We got the Tuskegee experiment. We got shit where we look at the government and people in certain places with the fucking side eyes. I'm not voluntarily going to the clinic for you to do some shit to me. So we tend to shy away from the hospital and the doctors. But anyway, I went. I was good. They gave me shot in the arm, some pain medication. But anyway, Jamie Foxx had a brain aneurysm, and that's nothing nice. So, you know, when you have a pop in your brain or a lot of blood rushes to your brain and shit, and you know, it's nothing nice. He was supposed to be alright, but then it turned out, and then this is another thing before I get into the alleged maybe kind of sort of shit that's going on. Why do aside the fact that you want privacy, right? Like the entertainers, you don't want everybody in your fucking business. I get it. You are a public figure, so the rules, it's not really the same for somebody like me. Even though I got a YouTube channel, pop up his TV, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, right? We struggle streaming, we low on the totem pole. We accept where we are on the totem pole. But for Jamie Foxx, this is that guy. Living Color, all type of films and shit, you know what I mean? He's that dude. And outside of his career, a lot of people that know him on a personal level say he's a great guy. He's a good guy. He's one of the good ones, right? You see him when George Floyd happened, outside protesting with the people, speaking his mind, speaking the word towards the right. Good guy. It's allegedly maybe kind of sort of that Diddy is trying to off him or unlife him or whatever the word that people is using now. And I don't use those terms loosely. You're never really going to hear me on the channel say stuff like that. One, I want to be monetized. That's number one. Let's have full transparency. You know what I mean? And I can see you if you're not hiding, and you definitely can see me because my page is open. I want to get monetized. I want full monetization. You know what I mean? But I'm not going to make no outlandish statements just for views. I'm never going to do that. I'm never going to jeopardize my integrity. I may say some shit that's incorrect, but I'm never going to clout chase, fuck a clout, you know what I mean? I'm never going to say some landish shit, put some crazy title just to get you to tune in. I'm not going to do that. I value my word and my integrity too much. And that's rare a lot of times because a lot of people will sell out, to get views, to clout chase and what have you. So I'm never going to do that. But a lot of people are saying that Diddy maybe kind of sortly sent some, did some shit because Jamie Foxx was speaking out about the parties, the wildness, the wow factor, the dildos or whatever. And I'm being funny, but I'm not. You know what I mean? C Mace, you know what I mean? C Mace, you know what I mean? Advice to Cam, and we're going to talk about Cam in a little minute. Like I said, I got time today, and we 39 minutes in. I got time today. We going to be right here. SWV. I say, damn, did he try to kill him? I don't know about that. We get the Illuminati and, New the World Order. We get that part. I'm a conspiracy theorist on certain things, not all things, because some shit is just dumb. Some things you have to use critical thinking. Some stuff you have to just say, damn, just because it's on the internet, just because some YouTuber said this shit, just because it's on Google, doesn't mean that it's fucking true. Use some common sense. Use your brain. Use your brain. It's not them that's knocking us off right. It's us that's knocking us off. And that's a Tupac reference from Machiavelli. I said, damn, did he trying to kill Jamie Foxx. So first he killed Big, allegedly. First he did this to Sean. First he did this, knocked off his wife, all these other shits. And I'm not saying that it's not true. I don't know what's true. What I'm saying is the allegations, the rhetoric, the talk is out there. I didn't make this shit up. This is what's out there already. I say, damn, if he really was, I mean, this nigga's diabolical. Like, this nigga is the devil. And if you watch Snowfall, the last series, which I did watch Snowfall, thought it was a great series. I like how they ended it. I like the guy, Idris or whatever his name is. Great actor. Rest in peace, John Singleton, all that shit. But if you watch the series and you're familiar, what's his aunt name? What's her name? Lucy or whatever her name was? Louis. After the funeral, when he came to her, after he saved her fucking ass, she like, I gotta ask you this. Why are you doing this? Right? Like, why are you doing this shit? What's your motives? What's your, what's your agenda? And when he told her, he's like, I'm not doing this shit for you or whatever. Whatever he told her, what was her answer to him? Right. That's what we getting at when it comes to Diddy. What was her fucking answer? She said, you the devil. She said, you the devil, and that's you. And he didn't say, he just looked at her with the look, and he walked away. So I'm being funny, but I'm not. But I'm saying that to say, if all the shit that's going around about Diddy is even remotely true, that nigga's the devil. That nigga's the devil. That nigga's the Illuminati. That nigga's everything wrapped up in one. Like, he Freddy, Jason, Michael Myers all wrapped in one. I got a Freddy glove right here. You know what I mean? Y'all know if you follow the channel, I change my background on a regular basis every show just to give the viewers a little different view. If you're on Instagram, you probably can't see because the view is just one thing. But you know what I mean? The whole view is different. Anyway, that nigga's the devil. I said, damn. He tried to off Jamie Foxx. If you listen to Jamie Foxx when he's telling the story, he like had the big ass camcorder, had to put the battery in exchange. Like, yo, Puff, do that again. You think that he would do something like this with all the bodyguard talk, with all this internet rhetoric that's going on? He would try to do something like that? I don't know. I don't have all the answers. I'm not swayed Kanye West. But I will say, prayers up to Jamie Foxx. We hope that he gets better real quickly. And, I just like, damn, not to exclude or, downplay anything that goes on in Hollywood, from Hollis to Hollywood, but is he good? Because we know a lot of wild shit goes on in Hollywood. And do you ever think about when you out of here, Jerry Springer, obviously Mayor of Cincinnati, Jerry Springer Show. And, for those that's familiar with the channel, I talked about Jerry Springer before the death. That's when I was in Elmira, I had my own TV. I know I'm not an angel on the channel. When I was locked up, I used to love watching Jerry Springer for the drama, the ladies fighting each other, snatching their shirt off, hoping to see a little smidget of a nipple. Holly Berry, is that a nipple? Is that a nipple? Like Boomerang, is that a nipple? Hoping to see a little smidget of a nipple and the white joints and the trailer trash and all that. And he died. And when I seen the news clip, they was like, unexpectedly maybe, but definitely not young. 79, I think he was, 78. That's not young, people. Maybe before it was young, it's not young now. If you live to be 79, 78, in my opinion, late 30s, that's you. I'm lying. I'm being funny, but I'm not. I don't shame for my age. I'm in my early 40s. It is what it is. Yeah, kid. That's a long life. You lived a long life. Now, granted, you may want to live to 100. You may want to live to 105. You see certain stories and shit pop out on the news. Somebody be 101. They celebrating the cake. You like, damn, she lived to 102. Salute. God bless. More life. But 79 is a long life. So if you 41, 49, 39, chances are you got less days ahead of you than you got in back of you. So we wish Jamie Foxx a speedy recovery. You know what I mean? We hope that he gets better. We hope nobody don't got the hit out for him. You know what I mean? And you know what I mean? That's that. But speaking of Jamie Foxx, right? Let's get to this shit. Let's talk about legacy, right? Because when you die, all you got is what's left of you. And some of us, you know, let's just be clear. Let's just be honest. Let's just be full transparent. Some of us is fucking scumbags. Yeah, I said it. Some of us is scumbags. Some of us is scum of the earth. And it's like ladies, gentlemen, and lowlife. Right, that's a Slick Rick reference. I'm bringing this up to say legacy. You know what I mean? You got R. Kelly. And real, this is a side note. Because this is my show. We unscripted. We don't have no set format. We do what the fuck we want over here. And that's why you like my show. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the like button if you on YouTube. Give me a like if you on Instagram. You know what I mean? Yeah, kid, that feeling. R. Kelly, right? What's the song? I didn't even know it was him. this is how crazy it is and how much I'll be in tune with certain shit. Even though I'll be on these social media platforms and I'll be running through these social media streets and they should have never, right? That shake, that let me see you shake challenge or whatever it is. I didn't know that was R. Kelly. I did not know that was an R. Kelly and Ludacris song. I just seen a lot of chicks and a lot of dudes doing that shake shit, you know what I mean? And I'm not really one for TikTok. I still haven't joined, even though I said I was. But, you know, let me see you shake, right? That's R. Kelly and shit. I'm bringing that up in the sense of hip-hop started out in the park. They used to do it after dark, right? Just celebrated the 50th year. And, you know, I come up on hip-hop. That's why if you watch the channel, you know the channel was hip-hop, entertainment, sports, interviews, Popovisms 101, and, of course, motivation. That's what this channel was based upon. You know what I mean? So hip-hop, which I love, that's why I quote the rhymes. That's why I tell you who the quotes is from. Just celebrated their 50th anniversary. Salute to them because you never thought hip-hop would make it this far, right? They building a museum, or the museum is built in the Bronx, where the birth of hip hop comes from. So this is why I'm bringing this up. That's why I brought up R. Kelly and the legacy, shit like that. Do you ever think about when you out of here? So the hip hop museum, I get they had the ribbon cutting or whatever. Had Fat Joe, a Bronx native. Had a couple of other people. You know what I mean? And YouTube, these streets is dangerous. That's number one. And they should have never let me in. Like, yo, I'm here now. And they should have never, right? I'm being funny, but I'm not. That's a Cam reference. Confessions of Fire. The beginning intro. Yo, you see him. Cam in the being with the Korean shit. Yeah. They should have never let me in the game. African band BouT, one of the forefathers of hip-hop, is on the bill or is intertwined, the Zulu Nation, for those that don't know what I'm talking about, if you of a certain younger age. African Bambaataa and the Zulu Nation, they're the forefathers of hip-hop. I know you caught up with the Kodak Blacks, the Little Babies, all this new and improved drill music and shit, you know what I mean? The Little Zotties and the Little Dirt, you know, whoever you are. That's the new shit. But rewind, Zulu Nation, you know what I mean? Run DMC and all this shit, right? So the Museum of Hip Hop, it was constructed, people came together, and I think it's a good thing. I think hip hop should have a place of recognition on a grand scale of things, like, yeah, House of Rock and Roll, House of Blues, the shit that's in Cleveland or whatever. You know, I forget what the place that's in Cleveland. We should have that. It should be recognized. It should be celebrated. I think we should stop putting little things on hip hop like, yo, if you're a certain age, you shouldn't be rapping and shit like that. If Rolling Stones and U2 or Guns N' Roses and whoever else you can think of that's of the other genres of music, if they can go on tour at 60, 70, Madonna, hip-hop should be able to do that shit too. Why not let the black brothers live, let the black sisters live, and but you black. Few things here with this shit. Number one, I brought up YouTube and the power of social media, because I'm speaking specifically about Hassan Campbell. Talked about him a few times, you know what I mean, in passing for learning purposes only. But Hassan Campbell was a big YouTuber, you know what I mean, right? He's fucking huge, right? Got a big platform. I'm subscribed to the channel. Notifications is on. I like his channel. I rock with his channel. I don't agree with everything that he's talking about. Sometimes he could go off the hinges. Sometimes say some bozo, some dumb shit, right? Nonetheless, I subscribe to the channel like a lot of people. It's nothing to double tap, keep it moving. So he's, I won't say famous for, but had a run-in with African BouT because that is his stepdad or his stepfather, somebody that was in his life instrumental, helped raising him up. And he was allegedly, maybe kind of, sort of, because no charges was brought. So that's the only reason why I'm going to say allegedly, maybe, kind of, sort of. You know, that's the saying on the channel. Was touched and some things was done to him, right? And I talked about this on the channel maybe like 1 or 2 times. But now we're talking about the hip-hop museum, right? Taxpayers is boycotting, they mad. They're like, hey, hold on. This Me Too shit. We're not going to give you our hard-earned money, right? Because that's your money, son. We're not going to give you our money to fund some museum for somebody that's a predator or allegedly, maybe, kind of, sort of, caught up in some sex scandal shit with minors. We're not going to have none of that. I agree with that. Number one, I don't condone anything with kids or stuff like that. That should go without saying. If it doesn't, then you're at the wrong place and you're not really familiar with Popovich TV. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. I don't subscribe to that. I don't condone to that. I think it's wild crazy, but believe it or not, it probably goes on more than what's portrayed or more than what type of light and focus is put on this, right? So people are in the outrage. They mad. They steaming agony. Why is everybody always picking on me? That's a Daz Effect reference. They're like, yo, we not funding this shit. We not giving up the last couple of millions to push this project through. So before I get to the R. Kelly, right? That's why I brought him up initially, if you lost the train of thought. African BouT. Number one, for hip-hop, the people that's in hip-hop. A fan of hip-hop, a person that grew up on hip-hop. We shouldn't be asking the taxpayers for shit, right? Like Jay-Z, Puff Daddy, Dr. Dre, who was just at the game last night, watching LeBron James smack and do away with Memphis. And we had LeBron James and LA Lakers beating Memphis in that series. We shouldn't be asking for no money from the taxpayers, because that's your money, son. Hip-hop has made numerous of people, black and obviously other ethnicities, fucking rich. You fucking rich. And like, what was the King of New York movie? You guys got fat while we starved. You know what I mean? You sat back and you ate for a couple of fucking years. We shouldn't be needing or asking anything of you, because the money should just be handed. Should be an honor. It should be a race to the finish to see who can give the most money for the museum. That's just my opinion. Obviously, I can't count people money. I can't dictate what people do with their money. You work hard for it. Pop, what up, my nigga? You work hard for it. You should be able to do what the fuck you want to do with your money, right? Because that's your money, son. Do what you want. That's why I said that on the channel. I'm being funny, but I'm not. And when I say that's your money, son, I'm referencing gambling, because that's also what the show is about. I put my money up where my mouth is, and I bet on sporting events, right? They should be able to do whatever they want with their money. The artists, that is. The artists. The artists. But Jay-Z, Dr. Dre, Puff Daddy, Buster, Nas, like you rapping about, what's the song, I'm Sorry Not Sorry? Y'all niggas is rapping about how much Bitcoin you got, how much flips you got, and how much rich you are. Like, everybody's a fucking millionaire in the rap game. Like the rap game became the crack game. Sometimes it reminds me of, right, that's a Nas reference. The people, the have-nots, the have less, should not be asking for no $5 million to finish the project or to finish whatever's left that needs to be done to open up the project. We should not be even asking for 1 red cent on the back line. I just wanted to get that out the way. Now let's get back to African Bambaataa. Let's get back to R. Kelly. Let's get back to those public figures that has done some shady shit, allegedly, maybe kind of, sort of, and those that has been convicted and the gravel has been hit and the court of law says they guilty, right? For instance, what are you talking? We're talking about R. Kelly pissing on young girls, having sex with underage girls, right? That's horrible. Let's be clear. It's fucking horrible. But am I going to listen to, you know what I mean, his songs and Step in the Name of Love when that shit come on? Yeah. When I'm at the barbecue, yeah, I'm going to listen to it. When I'm about to pop off in the bedroom and Scorpio's We the Best, DJ Khaled, of course I'm going to listen to It's Time to Have Sex and Bump and Grind and all those songs that we love about R. Kelly. Just like you. Just like you. You may have a few people who really like, you know what? I can't listen to, I can't rock with, I can't purchase, I can't download, I can't deal with nothing with R. Kelly or nothing with anybody, right? So this is my point that I want to make when it comes to that. This is my stance. For R. Kelly, for African Bambaataa, allegedly, maybe kind of, sort of, doing things to underage kids, right? Fat Joe, we hear you. You know, when he came out, Fat Joe got a big platform. He's one of the iconic figures in hip-hop from the birth of hip-hop. The BX, stand up. He like, yo, you know, anybody that did anything to kids, they should be fucking killed. They should be, like, he says some real strong words for somebody that may be associated with or accused of doing some shit to some kids. What's up, young lady? Doing some shit to some kids. Keep in mind, he got a song with R. Kelly. What's the song he got with R. Kelly? He got a fucking song with R. Kelly. It's one of them. I can't think of it off the top right now. You know what I mean? R. Kelly's in the R, Fat Joe in the R. We rolling on dubs, bumping in the club and up on dub, like that shit. You know what I mean? That song. Joe Crackin', I'm at it again. Again. Y'all know I be off the head with it. You know what I mean? I'm off the head with the hip hop. That song right there. We rolling on dubs, up in the club, and you know what I mean? That song. You got a song with him now. Prior, you may not have known that he was going to be convicted or accused of doing some shit to underage kids, right? You ain't know he was going to come out and in the closet and all that shit. But Fat Joe's own words is, if somebody is guilty of this, they should be fucking killed. This is his words. You acting like you ain't hear these allegations of African Bambaataa? Then your manager, I forget his name, and y'all could go Google this shit. Some shit, I do my due diligence and I Google and I have the information for you right on the phone. And some shit, y'all could just go Google it. I'm here to just talk my shit. Let's be clear. You know what I mean? You acting like you ain't know? You acting like you was unaware of the shit that Hassan Campbell was talking about? But even let's say that's true. This is my question to the public, to the people that's consuming the music still. Because if you still listening to Step in the Name of Love and all of the we having a backyard party, that's my shit. When you having a barbecue, that's the go-to song. Having a backyard party, like you having a backyard party, you gonna listen to R. Kelly, even though he is convicted and found guilty. So you can say it's allegedly, maybe, kind of, sort of, but the courts have spoken. Although, as a person that's been convicted and been up north a few times, I know on the channel, I'm not a fucking angel. Right, I'm not an angel. Just because you're convicted of something doesn't mean that you're guilty. Let's be clear. That's where I stand. Maybe I'm a little biased because I've been up north and I ran into people that was up north that was innocent. We see cases, the Central Park Five and certain guys that was accused of grape and all this shit, and we'll be graping you, graping you, graping you. The locks right. We're gonna get you the Honda, and we have the 20-inch rims on it. It's gonna be clean. Don't worry about it. We're gonna be graping you, but your Honda Civic gonna be clean. Just because you locked up don't mean you did the shit, right? But say you did do it. Do that now means that we stop rocking with your music? Do that mean you stop rocking Backyard Party? Do that mean you stop rocking Honey Love? If so, then that's cool for you. What I'm saying for me is I'm going to compartmentalize. I'm going to separate the artist from the real life individual. So I'm saying that to say African BouT, who hasn't been convicted of shit yet. This is just an allegation from a YouTuber, a big YouTuber at that, and then the other guy, I forget what his name is. I wrote the shit down, but the other dude that came out and he like, yo, I ain't really mean to tarnish the legacy. Of course, I still play R. Kelly too. Shout out to my nigga Blackface, you know what I mean? I still rock R. Kelly too. He like, yo, I'm not trying to tarnish the Zulu Nation, but this nigga was clapping the cheeks and doing me filthy as an adolescent, and I'm not being funny. Because sometimes, I say I'm being funny, but I'm not. So when it comes to that, I'm not being funny. I'm trying to be as sensitive as possible. So my question to the consuming public, if African BouT did do what he's accused of doing, which is touching little boys, right? Should he be deleted and erased from hip-hop history? Can you delete African BouT? He's one of the forefathers. So we put the museum up, which is in the Bronx, and this is what the controversy is about. Should we take him out of the museum? Do you go against those who want to celebrate hip-hop and include him? Or are you one to say, because of what's alleged, we can't include him? Even though he's one of the founding fathers. Like, you know what I mean? From the hip hop, the hibbity hip hop, it don't stop, and rock it to the bang bang boogie. Say up jumps the boogie to the boogie of the boogie beat. Now what you hear is not a test. You rapping to the beat, right? Like you the Sugar Hill Gang and Super Rhymes. You know what I mean? All the shit to Big Daddy Kane, and I'm the DIDDYKANE, dramatic, Asiatic, not like many, all the way to Nas, all the way to Lil Durk, all the way to Drake. This is hip hop history. So because he is alleged, and let's say he is convicted, like R. Kelly is, because that nigga got 30 years on his conscience. He not coming home. Maybe, according to what they saying. Should we take him out of the museum? Or could you say, all right, this is a scumbag, piece of shit, who did this to little boys, but he also contributed to one of the best genres of music in the last 50 years. Everywhere you look is hip hop. You know what I mean? BK, have it your way. You rule. Like all these little jingles and shit. All that shit is hip hop. Whether we benefiting financially or not, anything that you could think of in the last 20, 30 years, this shit is hip hopped out. In fact, they use it, in my opinion, as a way to rope us in. You throw this shit out if you ever went fishing. If you're a black man, you went in the woods and shit, you do shit that's non-traditional, especially if you got kids, or you part of some, fresh air fun and you rocking with the youth. Fishing is fun to me. You get one, you wheel them in. They use hip hop to rope us in, to the fast food, to the clothes, to the liquor, to all this shit. So they can benefit off us, but we can't benefit, ourselves. So should African BouT be erased? My opinion is no, he shouldn't be erased. Should we put a little check? Should we put a little asterisk and say, all right, he's one of the founding fathers of hip hop, but he also was touching little boys. Do you want to put that in the museum? Maybe not. Right, Blackface. You can't erase the history. That doesn't mean we turn a blind eye. That doesn't mean we say, yo, fuck the whole museum. fuck the museum. No, we can't. I don't think we should do that. Because in people's personal lives, humans are gonna human sometime. Just because you're an actor, a rapper, an athlete. That's like saying Kobe Bryant, even though it was consensual, Gail King, right? Like, man, insensitive to when he passed, the Black Mamba. Rest in peace to the Black Mamba. You know what I mean? Just because he had that situation, you're going to just take him off the books like he wasn't top 5 dead or alive. Like, you know what I mean? No, you can't do that. And so in my opinion, I don't think that's the right course of action. For those that don't subscribe to what I'm saying, then you do what you do. Let me know why they should be deleted. And let me know if you don't listen to certain songs of R. Kelly or if certain people did certain shit, why you can't separate certain actors. You know what I mean? They ain't pay their taxes or they did some foul shit to their wife. If it's one of your favorite movies, for instance, what's the nigga that played Minister Society? And he also played the illest nigga in Nebraska and Billy. He recently came out. I can't think of his acting name, but he recently came out and he like, yo, they was going to offer the role of, before they offered the role to DMX, rest in peace, who I often quote on the channel a lot. He was supposed to get the role, but then they offered the role to DMX. And he was like, he was hating. He was hating. Like, nah, I mean, he don't think DMX should have got the role. And we start using every little piece of, life experiences of certain individuals. You would have to X out a lot of shit. You know what I mean? You hear people say some foul shit, some whack shit. They do some fuck boy, some fuck girl shit. You say, do you stop rocking with them? Do you stop watching their movies? Look at Puff, you know what I mean? And I'm not saying he's guilty or not, right? The families of the victims still listen, right? Absolutely. Do you say like, you know what I mean? People that, what's the shit of, people that don't pay child support, or Dr. Dre wife, or Puff Daddy, he's accused of fucking over his artists. You saying you ain't going, when I thought I told you that we won't stop, I thought I told you that we won't stop. When I come on in the club, you not rocking to that? If you are, then I'm not knocking you. I respect your stance. But me personally, I'm not going to stop listening to African Bambaataa. I'm not going to stop listening to fucking R. Kelly. LL, rock the bells. If you jingling, baby, go ahead, baby. For niggas that's in the streets, and you follow the street codes. Nigga that took his chain and all that, booked him for his shit, he told. So if you a street nigga, right, and you subscribe to street mentality, you're not going to listen to Jingling Baby no more. You're not going to listen to Mama Said Knock You Out no more. And don't call it a comeback. You've been here for years, right? I'm just saying, if that's your stance, then that's you. That's not me. But being how we talking about hip-hop, like I said, I got time today. And we 68 minutes in. Let's talk about this Jim Jones. Let's talk about Pusha T. Let's talk about how we in the end game, because lesser rappers, if you will, can talk shit or talk up to or talk down, I should say, to the other rappers that's better than them. And obviously hip hop is subjective. It's not like sports, and if you judging on rings and who's the Lord of the Rings, even though I think we all can agree, if you're an avid sport fan, that even though Robert Horry has more rings than Shaq, more rings than MJ, more rings than LeBron James, he ain't better than none of them people I just named. But you do have statistics and things that can back your argument up. However, when it comes to hip-hop, it's whatever your preference is, really. You know what I mean? Like, if you a drill rapper, not a drill rapper, if you a drill lover, if you value lyrics over flow, if you value metaphors over swag and how niggas say it and flip it and bounce it on some happy-go-lucky shit, like the Purple Tape, which I quote all the time on the show. Shout outs to the Wu, because Wu-Tang love the kids. You had Jim Jones come out recently. I guess they came out with their list. You know who on my top 5, and I always quote the top 2. I never actually gave y'all who's top 3, 4, and 5. But the top 2 in my list of the best MCs is Nas and Jay-Z. I will do a show about who rounds out the top 5 and it's not Biggie. It was big, but as time goes on, as other rappers produce more body of work, and you just become not irrelevant, because Big Pun, Big L, whoever you subscribe to that's dead or have gone, especially too soon. They relevant still. Their music will still be relevant in some form or capacity. But Big, you got 2 albums. I can't put you over a Jada. I can't put you over a Busta. In my opinion, even though some may say lyrically, obviously, Big is better than Busta. But you don't got more songs no more. You don't have more memorable verses no more, in my opinion, than a Busta. So that's just to give you a little snippet of where I stand with this shit, right? So I guess they came out with a top 50s list. You know how they do every now and again. You know what I mean? They come out with these lists. But I think it was like a Rolling Stone, or it wasn't somebody that's really hip hop. So you got to look at it with the side eye and say, am I going to really give this shit some, weight? Am I going to let it hold some weight to me? Or are you going to do like the Genius? And he said, you know what I mean? What's the line from the song? But he don't know the meaning of dope when he's looking for a Sue and Ty rap that's cleaner than the bar soap. And I'm the dirtiest thing in sight. Matter of fact, bring out the girls and let's have a mud fight. Right. The Genius? The Jizza? Are you going to put credence to some nigga behind the executive board, or some nigga that's writing a column for one of these magazines? Are you really going to give that much weight to what they saying? Or are you going to sit back and say, who is your top 50 MCs of all time? So anyway, long story short, Jim Jones came out, and I fuck with Jim Jones. Side note, this is my show. I got a song with Jim Jones. It wasn't supposed to be that way, but the artist I was managing, and it turns out I end up jumping on the song, and it's a Harlem banger, right? It's called The Plaza. Go check it out, right? You know what I mean? And shouts to my nigga Great Fire. I mean, we on a song with Jim Jones and shit, and it was a pleasure. It was a good experience, and it is what it is. So I fuck with Jim Jones musically. He like, can you quote any Pusha T songs, and can you do this and woo 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 and ah. So let's just be clear where I stand. Number one, I think Pusha T is a better artist, better rapper, better lyricist than Jim Jones. However, I know more Jim Jones songs, or I could rock with more Jim Jones songs, unless you're including Pusha T collaboration with Kanye. Then you got Lamborghini Mercy and, the Big Sean and the songs he collaborated with. Obviously, Mama, You Miss Me, Don't You? I'm Back by Popular Demand, and, my watch, and, if you know, you know. If you know, you know. But he's a better lyricist. He's a better rapper. He's a better artist, in my opinion. However, if they do a versus, could Jim Jones, stick it to him? He probably could. But the question is he in the top 50? Is he in the top 50 artists, and should he be ranked where he was ranked at? And is what Jim Jones saying about him valid and exact, or is it out of bounds? What's your thoughts? Is Pusha T first better than Jim Jones? Is he a better lyricist? Is he a better artist? Because in my book, you have rappers, then you have artists. To me, in my book, it's a big, big, big difference. And even though I'm not as old as hip hop, I'm close. Hip hop is 50 years old. I'm right there. So I've been here for Super Rhymes, for motherfucking the Sugar Hill Gang, to Run DMC, all the way up. And that's why when you hear me and I'm referencing rap, I'm real finicky about the shit that I listen to, shit that I think needs, a voice, and shit that I be like, I don't even listen to that shit. Like on The Last Dragon, when a nigga went in Daddy Green Pizza, and that white bitch was playing, and that nigga was like, who plays this shit? And he put his whole foot inside the motherfucking TV. And those are the cozy souls, by the way. Cozy souls, cozy souls, cozy souls. He put his whole foot in the TV, and he like, who plays this shit? Certain shit I don't listen to because it's trash. I'm not gonna back down on that. Like 50 don't back down. Pusha T, I think if they was to do a versus, it might surprise you. I think Pusha T is better, obviously, lyrically, flow-wise, and even even in the Dipset. Obviously, if you include some songs with the Dipset, when it's rapping time and Pillar Telling a Donkey, and the songs that he got with obviously Cam and Jim Jones. Like I said, Jewels. Like I said, I fucks with Jim Jones, and I'm from Harlem, so how could I not? I don't think he's a better lyricist. What my nigga said, Pusha better everything except marketing. You know what I mean? So is he right though? And do the lesser MCs get to talk up on where you fit at in the pecking order of what's in it? Now, if you add, like, I guess because these lists, they include what's the impact that you had on the culture. So when Dipset is very, very big, that's why a lot of people, not me, even though I'm from Harlem, not me, didn't have Dipset winning against the Locks. No way, hell, I had them winning against the Locks. But some people, they was like, because of the impact and, the Pink Range, Cam coming through, and, the movement that they had for far as the people rocking with them and supporting them and following them. Maybe the dressing of the clothes and wearing the the handkerchiefs under the hat and all that. So they inspired a lot. So that's undeniable. So I never would take, credit away from them. The Slow Bucks and anything that they came out far as Dipset, ow, right? Like, you know what I mean? But as far as them going against the Locks, in my book, it was never a question of who was going to win that battle. And as we all seen it play out in the big screen, like, on the big screen, they got foot to ass. They got foot to ass. They got smash, Hulk smash. But could the lesser MCs talk up or talk down to the artists like Pusha T? I don't think so. Speaking of Dipset, let's get to this other shit, right? Like, I did a video on this. Go see my other video. And that's when Noriega, aka Nori, now he on the run eating, like NRE, Nori. Now he on the run eating, who I think doesn't get the credit that he deserves. I've seen a lot of people, maybe they're a little younger. I'm not saying he top 50 of all times, but what I am saying is, far as creativity, far as style, in the era of Jada, Mace, other artists that was out at that time, Big Pun, etc., Nas, early Hove, he stood out. And he got some classics under his belt. And although he started with Capone, who I cut his hair on Rikers Island when he went up north and shit, when he caught the case, and then he had to come out with his solo career, I think Nori is a little overlooked. But anyway, with that being said, he was on the Joe Budden's podcast, so they did a collaboration. And y'all know in these social media streets, they also just came out with a list of who's the top voices, the top niggas and podcasters and shit of hip hop. Joe Budden's was number one. I don't agree with that, but nonetheless, this is the list that these people come out with. So you can agree with it, you can have your own views on it, etc. But anyway, before the list, or maybe around the same time that the list came out, he had Nori on, they going back and forth, and I did a show on this because I knew they was talking about Cam. I knew they was talking about Cam. Now, after the video came out, come to find out they was talking about Trick Daddy, they was talking about a couple of other people, but because they said no name, and they didn't put a name on the shit they was saying, right? They didn't put a name on it. You know what I mean? Like LL said, not this time, but next time, I'ma name names. LL, shit from on top of the game. I shot you. They didn't name names. They just was like, these 90 rappers. First they want to do a little sports show, then they want to do a little cooking show, and they failing in the worst way. They looking bad in these YouTube streets. You know what I mean? This is their words. I was like, these niggas talking about Cam. These niggas is talking about Cam. And I did a show on that. So you can go see the other video. Well, Cam just came out recently. And he like, yo, Nori, I fucks with you or whatever. But the crackhead nigga talking about Joe Buttons. And, he was like, woo, I'm not going to play with you niggas. Like, I'm not going to play with you niggas. And so now it's a back and forth of of Joe Buttons, and as far as his ranking, his lyrical ability, number one, I think Joe is nice lyrically, but far as hits wise, far as impact wise, it's a little shaky, a little nervous, a little shaky, a little nervous. You got to Pump It Up, you got the song with him and Fab talking about how they, they wives or they girlfriends and shit. But lyrically, he's nice. He got with the Slaughterhouse. What's the nigga name? The other Spanish nigga? Yo, what's the nigga name? He be like, yo, Joel Ortiz and 5'9", Royce the 9, 5'9" and shit or whatever. And that's crazy because we the ones that got Nori and Cam speaking after 5 years when moved in Drink Train. All right, that's my nigga Blackface. He an industry insider, you know what I mean? And he just came out with the album, you know what I mean? On BouT. Shout outs to Dame, shout outs to Blackface. You know what I mean? The album is fire on a scale 1 to 10, just so we clear, because he on the check-in. I'm giving it an 8 out of 10. You know what I mean? Y'all could go check him out. It's on all platforms and shit. But anyway. They was talking about, I knew they was talking about Cam, even though they didn't mention him. So now Cam is like, listen, nigga, I'm not going to play with you. Where you at? And, I don't know if he trolling or whatever. He looking for views for his channel, which is This Is What It Is or That's It. I forget the name of the show, and that's not, I'm not being funny. But I watched it. I watched it a few times. My channel was about sports and entertainment and other shit. So I fuck with Cam. You know what I mean? And shout outs to him. Had a good night out with my nigga Blackface with D out in LA for an honor movie. We really got to chop it up and kick it. And he from Harlem, so I'm gonna rock with him. You know what I mean? Is it gonna turn into some shit off the internet? I don't think so. I hope not. You know what I mean? You never really know when it comes to this type of shit. Or is it just another ploy for niggas to tune in and come to your channel and rock and roll? And this is another thing what artists do, right? Not them in particular, but artists that's on the lower, even on these YouTube platforms and these podcasts and platforms. And this is what I never did. That's why my integrity is intact. And I'm a man of principle. I'm not the best. I'm not the realest. I'm not the toughest or whatever. But I do pride myself on being who I say I am. And if I wasn't, then why would I say I am? Right? Why would I say I am if I wasn't who I said I was? That's integrity. You can't buy it. You can't manufacture it. You can't, you can't just, make up authenticity. You either have it or you don't. So I'm saying that to say, there's a few collaborators that's in these YouTube streets. You know what I mean? I could have collaborated with them, but they always talk about certain other YouTubers that's bigger than them. You know what I mean? And you had when Kevin Samuels, rest in peace again to the self-proclaimed Godfather, when he was alive and well. You had a lot of people, every time he did a video, they doing a reaction, they doing a reaction, they doing a reaction. And I'm not hating on them. They started their YouTube channels the same time pretty much I started mine. But I'm not going to say a dick rider. That's what I was going to say. Hey, Cam, dick riders. Right. You know what I mean? Like, hey, Cam, dick riders. I'm not going to say it was dick riding. I'm not going to say that because it's a little disrespectful. And we content creators. What I will say is, you know what I mean? I just wasn't on that vibe. So my channel probably stagnated a little bit. But what I can say is, I wasn't real quick to just run every time somebody did a video, then I'm going to do a reaction to it. So I'm only mentioning that to say, like, the lesser people, they always take shots at the bigger people in hopes of the big person reach down to them. You know what I mean? And then you think of Hov, right? You say, Hov, who's number 2 on my list. He like, break through glass ceilings, break through glass floors. If it wasn't for these pictures, you wouldn't see me at all. Like, you wouldn't even hear about me if it wasn't for the internet and it wasn't for TMZ and I'm a millionaire. Like, imagine a millionaire on the internet arguing with broke niggas, dusty niggas, bum ass niggas. Like, you know what I mean? Oh, you know what I mean? Like Dame said in the Paid in Full movie, your man looking like he hurt and you need to defront him something. Like, you know what I mean? I'm in my Tuesday card. Y'all niggas is looking like you could use us. You niggas is losing, looking like you can use us, and that's a Rick Ross reference. I don't think it's that. Because Cam is a big deal. Some people in the comments, you know, the comments, it's a lot of trolls. They're like, who this nigga again? And some people like, yo, he was known for the pink and all that. Nah, don't front on Cam. He's known for a little just pulling up in the pink range. Obviously, Dipset, and even before, you know, Dipset, he had his own thing. Do I think it's going to spill over into the streets? No. Do I think it's just trolling and niggas having fun? Yes. And we hope that we can keep it like that, because you don't want to see you know, people that who we rock with from the times that their careers done, you know, catapulted. They're in the Hall of Fame now, if you will. If it was a hip hop Hall of Fame, obviously Cam would be in it, you know, for his legacy and what he brought to hip hop and his impact of hip hop. And Joe Buttons would be too, not because of hip hop. I don't think for his little rap career, and I'm not being funny when I say little rap career, he would be in because of the other things, and obviously transitioning to be in the podcast lane. He is one of the best, and that's why they have him as number one. I didn't have him as number one, but at least these people that do these little you know, lists and categories of who's number one and all that. You know what I mean? But hopefully it just stay like that. I think they just trolling, but obviously they was talking about Trick Daddy. They was talking about a couple of other people, and you know, it's competitive competition. Hip hop is a competitive sport. It's me versus you, and I'm the best, and I got the best rhymes. I got the best gear. My swag is the best. Max B, you see when he came out, that nigga like Jim Jones, Max Bigavale. When you go to YouTube and you look at that shit, that nigga like Jim Jones or Max Bigavale. Like, you know what I mean? It is what it is. You know what I mean? Let's get into some other shit, right? Let's get into this let's get into this Steve Harvey shit, right? I'm not a red pillar. I'm not a manosphere person. If you know what I'm talking about, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. As soon as when I mention Steve Harvey. I never came into YouTube on that type of vibe. And this speaks to the people who was running with the Kevin Samuels content every time he came out. They jumping on the bandwagon. Every time something happens with a woman, especially a black woman, oh, but you black, they jumping on it, and the black woman this, black woman that. I never was with that shit. Number one, again, I move off integrity. I move off what's authentic to me. So like Hov said, you can come set up the camera, let the video run. And my real life complete with real ice. You know what I mean? Like, I'm who I am off camera when you see me. In fact, I'm probably even much different. You know what I mean? For the camera, you got to add a little extra entertainment. And are you not entertained? You know, so that's why I say I'm being funny, but I'm not. Sometimes I do add that in. You know what I mean? But overall, I'm who I say I am. I mention that to say, Steve Harvey, he is who he said he is. He's a comedian, so number one, he gets paid to make us laugh. And we know he got to Think Like a Man, the book, the movie. He comes out with a lot of outlandish, off-the-wall, NJ type of shit. If you're a stand-up guy, in my opinion, and I do want to use the word simp or sucker, even though that word is actually used a little bit too much. Now, that nigga's a simp, that nigga's a sucker, that nigga's, you know what I mean? But it is a lot of y'all out there, and if the shoe fits, then wear it. I'm sorry, Miss Jackson. I'm for real. Put the shoe on, wear it. If it don't apply, then let it fly. I know, well, I'm lying now. I probably played the sucker role a few times, and I did time in prison. I'm not an angel. When I came home, when it comes to the opposite sex, I was very green. I was mad green. You know what I mean? I did a lot of things wrong, you know what I mean? And I did a lot of things wrong. And I learned from my mistakes. So I probably was considered a sucker. I got put in the friend zone. You know, you live and you learn. And again, as a man, from very young, you learn early on where you stack up in life. Not to say that wherever you stack up, you're going to stay there. You can elevate. And we've seen plenty of men elevate, push the culture forward, and we've seen plenty of suckers, plenty of simps, plenty of lame ass niggas. Let's just be clear. Keep the culture from moving forward. When it comes to Steve Harvey, great entertainer, great actor, great stand-up comedian. He's a millionaire. He's rich. Obviously, he could buy your life. Like, know what I mean? Niggas people with no money act like money even everything. I'm having a good time. They just try to ruin it. You know what I mean? He could buy my life over a few times. And for those that's laughing at me, he could buy your life a few times over too. Don't act like it's just me. You know what I mean? So just to be clear where I'm at with that. However, when it comes to dating advice, life coaching advice when it comes to dating and the marriages, he just was on Shannon Sharp, who I fuck with, Uncle Sharp, you know what I mean? Uncle Sharp, you know what I mean? And sometimes he be trolling, he be being funny, but he not. He just was on there talking about, you know, what men bring to the table and we should be the providers, we should be the protectors, which I already know. I've been living my whole life like that. And any woman that I ever been with, in a serious relationship with, and even if you was on the side and you just with some buns, right. You know what I mean? Scorpios, we the best. Even if you was just on the side, I'm going to say that again, and just some buns, because I am who I am, you always was in good standards with me. Meaning I never was tight. You know what I mean? I never was like, you know what I mean? I'll look out for you. I had no problem with that. But especially if I was rocking with you on some serious shit. I always was the provider, always was the protector, never looked at you to give me anything. Like my money is our money, your money is your money. Those are the things I operated off, and I don't think that makes you a sucker. I think in the good book, which I follow to the best of my ability, the Islamic I'm talking about, the Most High says the men are the maintainers and protectors of the women and children. It is what it is. So if you're a man and you have women and children that's under you, like Don Corleone on the Big Pun album, you under us now. You supposed to be protecting them. You supposed to be providing for them. You supposed to be showing them the way. Like shine your light for the world to see. Your Umi said, that's what you're supposed to do. So he like, yeah, you know, what's the men supposed to do? The men supposed to do this, and he absolutely right. Where he fucked up at, or where other men that's standing firmly on their square is looking at him with the side eye, is when he told Shannon Sharp, he like, you know, because the men that ask a woman, what do you bring to the table? And they can bring it, they can create a whole nother you. Okay. Animals create a whole nother them. If you're a rat, you can have another rat. You'll have a mice and it'll grow to a rat. If you're a lion, you'll have a cub and it'll grow to a lion. No matter what you are, even plants have babies and they procreate. So that's the bare minimum. If your organs and your body is functioning right, you can have a baby from anybody. A dirt bomb, bum ass nigga, a scum of the earth ass nigga, a Pookie and Ray Ray, a Chad or Tyrone, and you need to call Tyrone. From a nigga in prison, you could be working in corrections, get pregnant by an inmate, have a baby by him. Why is that up here? You know what I mean? Like, why did he put that up here? Like, she can create another you. So you shouldn't be asking her what she brings to the table. I disagree with you, Steve Harvey. And then, not only do I disagree with you, but again, my track record is not perfect. I was married, I was divorced. So I can speak to some aspects of relationships. I can say what roles I played, and I played a role. I can say what roles my ex played. I can say I dated. I did a lot of shit for my age. I've done a lot, especially when it comes to the opposite sex. At one point in time, I was green. I didn't know. And then at another point in time, after a whole lot of experiences and DJ Khaled and another one, and I'm a Scorpio, so we the best. I'm being funny, but I'm not. Shout outs to all the other signs, but Scorpios, we the best. It is what it is. I got a fucking story to tell, and I can write a book on dealing with the opposite sex. Not saying I'm a Mac Daddy and I'm a player. I got played a few times, and I had my fair share. I'm going to just leave it at that. My mama might be watching. My sister might be watching. You know what I mean? Like, I can't get into all of the ins and outs of what it really hitting for. That'll come later, maybe in the book. But I can say what's what and what's not, at least according to me. So when you look at his history, you say, damn, married twice before he got with Marjorie, you know what I mean? Homer Simpson, you know what I mean? And you say, damn, she was fucking with the drug dealer niggas. You know what I mean? No knock on her. A lot of women want to be with men that have power, that have status. that can ultimately change the course or direction of their life. You know what I mean? And that's why you hear, I want a baller, shot caller, you know what I mean? And you hear guys saying, I wish I was a baller, a little taller, or a shot caller. Because when you get with a Diddy, and I'm just using these people that y'all can quickly identify with, Jay-Z or whoever, and they're a millionaire, they're almost a billionaire. And like Hov said, what's better than one billionaire, two? Especially if he got the same hue as you. When a woman meets a guy like that, and they can instantly change their livelihood, like, oh, now you lit. And now you lit. Meaning you ain't never gotta work again. You good, I could take care of you, I could do whatever, you know what I mean? Like, who don't want to be with somebody like that? Who don't want to submit to somebody like that? Who don't want to follow the rules and go on somebody's program like that? And then I'll flip it and reverse it like a circle, like my guy Witherspoon, that's from Boomerang. Don't be whipped by that pussy. Whip that pussy, like reverse it. I mean, for the fellas, mostly that's locked up though. Because if you outside and you in the world and you're a man and you standing on your square as a man, then you're not looking for no woman to take care of you. Like I said, for me personally, I never, ever, sorry, Miss Jackson, never look for a woman to take care of me, never. And if the food ain't on the stove, I hunt for it. Right, like, I mean, that's a Lil Wayne reference. People in prison, men in prison, they down a little bit. They a little fucked up. So they may depend on the woman to take care of them, to bring them packages, to answer that phone call, to send them shit. So in those certain scenarios, if you just coming home, you got a grace period, you know what I mean? You may get with a woman that's richer than you, you know what I mean? Got more money than you, but the overall, the natural flow of things, if you're a man, right? You're not in that situation. You're not looking for a woman. So I'm only saying that to say when Steve Harvey, like, you know, what do a woman bring to the table? Of course they want to be with a guy or a man that could provide for them, change their life. Who the fuck want to work? Especially men don't want to work. You know what I mean? Most of them, you know what I mean? And we work because we got to work. And from young, we taught that ain't nobody going to give you shit. You got to get up, get out, and get something. Like Pop said, I give you, my Pop shared me rules. And my Pop, somebody shared with me 2 rules, and I share with you this. Get off your ass if you plan to be rich. Like, ain't nobody giving you nothing. I don't care if they're your family. If you're a man, nobody really going to give you nothing. Now, you could get stuff passed down to you and heritage, you know, and most of us is not really privy to that. You're not blessed to get that. You be great if you get a life insurance policy. Motherfucker ain't leaving you nothing but debt. You know what I mean? So you lucky if you wanted to, you know, the blessed ones to get some inheritance. But with that being said, he like, you know, men asking women what they bring to the table. There's nothing wrong with a man asking that. Now, how you ask it, because this is what a lot of women in the comments, y'all know I be in the comments. They're like, you know, if a man is asking a woman what she brings to the table, that's a little feminine. I don't really know no man in the course of dating. You going out on a date, you expected to pay, you know what I mean, you Philippe Childs or wherever you at, you in a nice restaurant, you eating some steak and shit, some shrimp and turf or whatever, right? No, what man comes out and asks a woman like, so what you bring to the table? That they really caught. It doesn't happen in that way. But I think what the red pill, the manosphere, which I'm not a part of, I think what they're pushing to the men of today, young and old, is don't be duped by these women. Don't get got. So it's like, all right, I know what I'm supposed to bring to the table, and the ones that's established already know what they bring to the table. We all watching the same YouTube and social media videos. You see what men bring to the table, those that, you know, whether you 1%, 2%, and as far as high value, if you're not familiar with my content, you're not familiar with my channel, I don't subscribe to just being financially, that makes you high value, because you can have a whole lot of money and be a piece of shit. You can have a whole lot of money and stand for nothing. You can have a whole lot of money and be a scumbag. So I'm not talking to you. High value in my book and in my opinion and how I view it through my lens does include money, but it also includes character. It also includes moral values and principles. what you stand on, how you moving. You know what I mean? That's important. That's hell of important. So, when you hear the dating, rhetoric of, you got to be 6 feet, have a six-pack, and have a whole bunch of money, you don't really hear a lot of women say trustworthy, responsible, you know what I mean, honorable, like honor. You don't hear them talking about that. You hear them talking about the superficial shit. And that's a little disheartening. But back to what he was saying. Is it true that men supposed to provide and be the protectors and maintainers? Of course it is. I subscribe to that. But is there anything wrong with the younger generation, people that's coming up in 2023? If you was, if you was born in 2005, you know what I mean, you're 18 now or whatever it is, you need to be aware of what women are doing in the game that they're running. So you don't get duped. So you don't get got for your shit. And you think you're going to come in and provide everything and be the protector and maintainer, and they looking at you like a bag. They looking at you like a meal. You on their phone as monthly rent paid or some crazy shit like that. They got a whole roster. They getting dug out. You know what I mean? Thinking they could do what men doing. And in my book, although this is not the overall consensus for everybody, men and women are different. We got different organs. We think different. We built different. You know what I mean? The Most High put us on this earth for different purposes, although we need to work together. And that's why it's so astonishing, and it's so on the channel, if you still tuned in and you new to the channel, a lot of times on the channel I say, when you put the beat on, I'm not shocked and amazed. When you hear people or the chicks on, what is it, the Queens of Soul or Soul of Queens or whatever, with Vivica Fox and the other chicks, Selena Johnson and all that, when you see they have a person like Ice Cube on their channel, and he's speaking for black people, but you black. Right. Joe Pesci reference from Lethal Weapon, but you black. And they're like, I don't see nothing in here dealing with black women. And you hear, and you see a look on his face like, duh, bitch, is you stupid? And I'm saying it like that because I know that's what he wanted to say to them. Like, duh, bitch, is you dumb? Black people includes black women and black men. How could it not? Like, what other race is separating themselves? Like the black men over here, the Asian men over here, the Asian women over here, the Korean women over here, like the Latino men over here, they're not separating. We're the only group that does that. And that's why we're losing and we're last. And you got the Spanish dude, I can't think of his name right now, Luis Luenglez or whatever the fuck his name is, coming out with statements like, Latinos built this country. What? What? Can you repeat that, sir? For the people in the back that didn't hear you? Because I could have swore it was us. I could have swore we was brought over here on the slave ships and whipped to a pulp, programmed, reprogrammed, you know what I mean? DNA, you know what I mean? Slavery in your DNA, so your mind is trapped, and you still, you know what I mean, running around thinking killing niggas and putting pain on people that look like you is a badge of honor. Right. Stuff we don't really talk about. And I'm no Malcolm X, you know what I mean? Even though I am Malcolm X like the movie, I am Malcolm X. We the only group that does that. So what Steve Harvey's saying is a disservice to the young brothers. They should know what a woman is bringing to the table. Because besides having my baby, you know what I mean? Like, so you're having my baby, and it means so much to me. It means a great deal to me. Because I chose you to skeet and shoot the clubbing. But did I choose wisely? Are you going to be a good mother? Are you going to be a good first teacher to our child? Especially if it's a daughter. Because we know we living in a day and age of, like if you a parent raising a daughter now, it's tough on you. And I'm going to say, like, the boys, we don't really get no pass. Like, when you're young, stop crying, man up, and, stop acting like a bitch, or stop acting like a girl. And, it's those stigmas that's attached to being a young boy trying to come up and go from boys to being men. Like, I'm trying to raise these boys to men like daycare. That's a whole reference. For the women, it's different. For the little girls, it's different. But are you going to be a good mother? Are you going to be a wholesome partner? Are you rocking with me? Or at the first glimpse of adversity, at the first glimpse of a raise, and now you're making more than me. I'm looked down upon, or you're not happy. You know what I mean? So that's what men, on these sectors and these channels is asking. And I'll say that, and I'll end this particular topic as far as Steve Harvey, because we know his wife is I won't say a 304, but I say she ain't the greatest of individuals. You know what I mean? You was dealing with one dude, I forget his name. He out now. He just came home. 27 years. And he like, if you count the year that I did in county, 28 whole fucking years. Like 2 years ago, no, 28 whole fucking years this man did. And people in the comments is like, oh, we living in a whole different world when the gangsters come home and they start telling their story, or niggas run to the internet. No, a lot of us, our whole life is on the internet. When you take a shit, you putting that on the internet. When you cook that bum-ass turkey, your kitchen is looking shabby in the background on Thanksgiving, on these pagan holidays. That shit is for the internet. Your roster is on the internet. Your badass kids is on the internet. Every time you fix your bum-ass weave, that shit on the internet. Them leased cars you got on the internet. Them BBLs, them liposuction needles you getting put in your ass. All that shit is on the internet. So for somebody that want to tell his life story and try to capitalize, because we live in a capitalistic society, why the fuck is he looked at as being down, looked at as being down? Why? Somebody rocking. Why is he looked at as being, a sucker or a lame? Because he telling his life story. I think he should be able to tell what the fuck he wants. It's his life. He the one that did that time. You know what I mean? He did that time. You know what I mean? What's up, Melanie? You know what I mean? He did that time. Why the fuck he can't tell his life story? Everything. That's why I got a lot of sayings on the channel. And I know niggas going to jack my shit. They going to catch up later. Because we don't got a lot of views over here. It is what it is. But when they catch up, sooner or later, they're going to see I've been had a lot of sayings. And one of them is, it's all for sale. Your whole life is for sale. Your whole childhood, your whole fucking parenthood, how you raising your kids, everything you do is for sale. Some of it shouldn't be, but because you don't got no filter, you don't got no chill, you looking for validation in all the wrong places, you put everything about your life on the internet. So for here, this man is in his 50s or whatever, close to 60, did 27 years, to my knowledge, did it like a G, because he could have got her locked up. He can't tell his life story. He can't talk about his relationship with this woman that's now with Steve Harvey. I really cram to understand that. A lot of people be in the comments like, everything is this and everything is that, but you put your whole life on there. Every time you get a root canal, every time you change your weave color, every new tattoo you get, every new dick you get, you know what I mean? Like every new buns you get, every new car you lease, every time you in the studio, everything you put up is on the internet. Everything. Not secret. Your mom's having surgery, you put your fucking funeral online. Like niggas go to the funeral to put that shit online. Keep it a buck. Like, you know what I mean? Like niggas go to their family funeral, be all like this in front of the casket and all that. All that shit is for sale. And I'm being funny, but I'm not. The point is, why this man can't talk about his life and how he see it, right? And I gotta talk about my life and how I see it. It's a Martin Lawrence reference. I feel he have every right to do that, especially if he coming out with the book. So again, Steve Harvey, your past is a little shaky. You left your wife, you was cheating with your wife. It's your second, divorce. Then you get with her. She was dealing with some prison jail nigga. Then she got with his cousin, allegedly, maybe, kind of, sort of. For you to come out and be telling a whole new generation of young men, what do women bring to the table when we shouldn't question them, I think that's fucked up. I think it's a little irresponsible. Because you kind of looked at it as an OG. We obviously know you one of the OGs of comedy, but that commentary that you did on Shannon Sharp show, that shit is irresponsible. Shout out to my nigga Gray. That shit is irresponsible. That shit is not right and exact. And because of the internet, good and bad, somebody like myself that get 2 or 3 views, and I'm being funny, but I'm not. Y'all need to subscribe to my channel. You need to subscribe. You need to like and share. And y'all need to rock with the Popovists. You know what I mean? Somebody like me, I could talk shit about Steve Harvey, who's a millionaire, who's, way more accomplished than me. But is his argument versus my argument, is he right? No, he's not. His argument don't stand a chance against the argument that I'm saying, even though I'm less accomplished, even though I'm less known, even though I have less views than him. His wife is a 304 if you're going on the terminology and the criteria, not the terminology, that's incorrect. The criteria of what's a 304. 304, you know, and that's loosely nowadays too. You know what I mean? And niggas can't really beat 304 in that sense. It's just one of the double standards, in my opinion. It's in the men's favor and it's not in the women's favor. And then some stuff is in the women's favor that's not in the men's favor. I don't make the rules. I just abide by them or I don't. I break them. She was dealing with one nigga who was locked up, kingpin, was facing 27, 28 years in prison. But then you fuck with another nigga that's also in the streets, but that's his cousin? Is that not some wild horse shit? I'm just saying, for the ladies, like where the ladies at? Where the ladies at? Fellas, no need for you to comment, because I already got a feel of how you're going to view this shit. And I view it as some scumbag. It's like Slick Rick said. You know what I mean? Now come along. We have a party to attend with some real mature women and some more of our friends. Come on. You going to deal with me then fuck my cousin? What? What? Then Steve Harvey, you know, you're dealing with your ex-wife. You take your kids and just how he did his whole situation. It's no wonder that they booked him for his shit. It's no wonder that she booked him. And you hear Shannon Sharpe, you're like, you went broke and all that because you got divorced? Nah, that's not the only reason why you went broke. You went broke because you was moving unethical. You did some fuckboy shit. And then for you to come on and tell the next young generation that you don't have no right to question a woman and what she brings to the table besides a warm, hot womb and being able to reproduce. Spiders reproduce. Ants reproduce. Steve Harvey? How was that a strong argument? You know, a woman can't produce without a man shooting the club up. Then it got to be potent seed because every man, you know, his seed may not be strong enough. So you're not going to get a woman pregnant. So if her organs and all that is working right, you need a donor. Then you need the Most High to bless you to be able to conceive, accept the seed, then incubate the seed, and really you just a deliverer of life through the Most High. That's why, you know, when you hear women like, I'm the table, I'm this, I'm that. No, God is first, right? Let's be clear, as far as where I stand. God, man, woman, then child. Sun, moon, star, right? And I'm not, because I'm not the best of the best, and I'm not the best around, and nothing ever is going to hold you down. I'm a realist. I fuck up. I have mistakes. I have setbacks. I have flaws, of course. But we got to stop acting like women is just because you can carry the baby that you over God, that you're over man. Because if you do follow religious beliefs and ideologies, if you was all of that, you would have been made first. It would have been woman first, then man. Right? Right. It would have been woman first. No, you was second, and that's you. You wasn't first. You was second. So how the fuck you going to jump over the first? Like it's no one without two. It can't be two without one. Sometimes 1 and 1 makes 3. Sun and the moon. The moon revolves around the sun. You know what I mean? So how you going to jump man? So if a man is asking a woman, besides having my baby, what else are you going to bring some positivity? Are you going to bring some peace of mind? I'm not asking for your money because no man, you know, worth his weight in salt or whatever you want to use is asking no woman for money. Again, maybe because we've been rocking for a little while. I told you I had time today. So Steve Harvey, we looking at you with the side eye. Let's get into some other shit, right? I got time today, and we've been off for a long while. We did Ramadan, then we did the 6 days of Shawwal. I ain't been on YouTube. I ain't been on Instagram going live in almost a month and a half, almost, you know what I mean, a long little while. So I got time. And it's Saturday, and it's raining, and nobody ain't doing shit. So tune in. Let's talk about Marcus Houston. Let's talk about Marcus Houston. Speaking of the red pill, the manosphere, the war going on outside, no man is safe from. You can run from streets that we done took. You walking with your head down. I'm talking about the men and the women, the double standards, applies to men, what don't, what's in our favor, what's not, what applies to women, what's in their favor, what's not. Marcus Houston, R&B, B2K, and bump. You know what I mean? I think that is Marcus Houston. Is that Omarion? No, I think that's Omarion. But anyway, Marcus Houston, and let me hear you say, oh, Scorpios, we the best. Let me hear you say, oh. He recently was under a lot of fire for talking about how he went and dated single baby moms, or a single mother rather, and his wife is young. I think he in his early 40s, 41, maybe just turning 40. I think his wife is like 21 now, 22, but he met her when she was young. This is before we get into the rights and the wrongs of this shit, because that's really what he was under a lot of scrutiny for, because she young. He was what's the word women like to use? He was grooming her. You know what I mean? He was finessing her. I will say this though, the story of the mutual friend introducing him, or however that goes, and I believe he's a Jehovah Witness, or he's a part of the church Latter-day Saints. You know what I mean? I'm being funny, but I'm not. And I grew up in the church playing the drums in the church and shit. You know what I mean? Shout out to all the churchgoers. Shout out to anybody that believe in a higher power and knows that we ain't put ourselves here, and one day we will have to answer for the life that we choose to leave on this earth. You're gonna answer for that shit. You ain't getting away, and you think you getting away, you're not. That's my belief. You can believe what you want to believe. But anyway, with that being said, he a Jehovah Witness or whatever, right? Only thing I was looking at with the side eye is the time he met his wife, who introduced him, and how did that dynamic play a part? Like, if she was so young, say she was 17, I think they were saying about to be 18, he was in his late 30s, about to be 40. How does that play a part, right? But no matter how it played a part, he like, yo, we didn't get married, or we didn't start having any interactions until she was 18. This is why I'm bringing up the 18. But for the women in the back, like, where the ladies at? Where the ladies at? For y'all, that's like, men that want women that's younger, outside of the looks. Most of us, when it comes to relationships, we want somebody that we deem physically attractive, that we deem desirable, pleasing to the eye, and that's why beauty is in the eye of the beholder. We all have different scales and views on how we view beauty. What we think is attractive, what attracts us, what floats our fancy. Cool. He thought she was desirable, etc. But women was like, he groomed, and it's a little cringy, and this and this and that. And I say, why is it cringy for a woman who just barely turned 18? Let's just say she was barely 18, and she just turned 18. And I got nieces and little cousins that's females, and I love them. And I never would want no man to take advantage of them. And anybody that did some sucker foul, underhand shit to them, I would be right there front and center like, what is hidden for? We're not going to do that to mine. That's just a side note. It's my show. With that being said, why is it all right for them to be on fans only? For them to do barely 18? For them to be on gag queens? For them to be on bend over from the back and hanging from chandeliers and doing all this porn and pornography shit, being sex workers and shit. But it's not okay for her to be married at 18 because he was 40. Because we know that it's young women that's 18 that's selling a box to men that's 40, men that's 30, men that's 35. I mean, if it's on the shelf and you got money, right? Because that's your money, son. Because that's your money. And you can choose to do whatever you want with it. Why is it all right for you to be on fans only, for you to be selling your box, for you to be a sex worker, just turning 18, but it's not okay for you to marry somebody at 18 in America? Now, if it's underage and the law says whatever it is, then the law is the law. So we're not disputing that. Make no mistakes about what I'm saying. What it is, young lady, we not disputing that. We're not disputing that. I got nieces, I got little cousins that's female. Again, I wouldn't want them to be taken advantage of. I'm going to step in if somebody is trying to take advantage of them. Right, because that's my family. But if you could be barely 18, It's actually a category for that. I mean, like we not no quiet boys over here. We know what Lobster Tube is. We know what Pornhub is, and we know if you do a little Google search, you can type up videos for women and young girls that just turned 18. Like you were 17 yesterday, you just turned 18 today, and you got a whole sausage in your mouth. Like a nigga threw a whole Frank stand at you. That's okay because they paid you to do that. Because that's your money, son, and you getting paid, you get into the bag. But a man that's in his late 30s or early 40s can't marry you because he's grooming you, because he's manipulating you, because he's abusing you, because he's doing all this shit to you and puppets on a string and no, there's no strings on me. That argument is weak. I think you need to come better. I think you need to come more correct. And men not going to be shamed about it. Men want younger. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. Women want older. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. It's double standards when it comes to men and women. Some is beneficial for men, some is beneficial for women. It is what it is. You can like it, you can love it, you can dread it, you can run from it, but destiny arrives all the same, right? That's a Thanos reference. But you know what I mean? Destiny arrives all the same. Or should I say, I have. You can be mad at it all you want, but the point is, it's a reason it's a porn category that says barely 18. It's a reason for that. Because men are going online, whether you think they're perverts or not, it's not illegal. It's not illegal. You can have a fans only and make 100,000, or you can make a whole bunch of money and get Bentleys, Ferraris, and all that shit. But it's not cool for you to get married and be made an honest woman. So this is just for the ladies, because I'm sure they're the only ones that really got a problem with that. Now you can say, how did they meet? When did he meet her? Who introduced them as friends? That I will concede and say, damn, that is, when did you meet her again, my nigga? Like, when did you meet her? Who introduced? Because you were almost 40 and she was almost 18 or 17. What mutual friend introduced y'all? That's the only thing that gave me a little cause for pause. I don't just go with the rush and I don't go along to get along. You're not gonna never see that on my channel. I may not always have the right idea, the right train of thought. I may say some shit that's out of line, but I'm not perfect and I can live with that. And the more you talk in front of the camera, you're gonna say some shit that's not accurate. People will be able to go rewind the tape like, no, nah, that nigga said this. That nigga said this, or he was on this side. So you may be wrong, but I'm definitely not with no pedophile shit. I'm not with no men taking advantage of none of that. But what I am saying is, in America, and this is America, don't catch you slipping, police be tripping. What I am saying is, if you good enough to make a fans only, if you old enough to do porn and get it taken from the back, you old enough to get married to a guy that's older than you because the law says you can. So who the fuck is us to judge and have an opinion? Well, you can have an opinion, but who are you to make this man try to feel some type of way because he went and married her and they seem happy. She seems happy. Now, we find out in the future he doing some underhand shit or he was a scumbag and, you know, obviously they were supposed to have allegedly maybe kind of sort of been touched or manipulated by older people, which is fucked up. So maybe they thinking ain't right, and it's like, I was hurt, so I'm gonna hurt you. Hurt people hurt people. Misery loves company. It could be something like that, but overall, they seem happy. They seem like their marriage is based in, scripture. Then let them be happy. You know what I mean? Let them be happy. And it's the last thing I'm gonna speak about. I have some other topics. Like I said, I got time today, but let me just speak about this last shit. Let me speak about Tyrese, right? Tyrese, who I like. I mean, from the time he came out with the Pepsi commercial, singing his fucking little heart out on the back of that bus, to Fast and the Furious, to all his accolades, and all of the, what do you want from me? Like, everything that he ever did. And I'm being funny, but I'm not. Everything that he done, because when you're in the public eye, your life is played out in the public. And I just did a video on Tyrese with him and what's up, my guy Wally? With him and his Instagram model chick, where she was like she really was checking for Paul Walker and all. I just did a video on that, so go see the other video. But anyway, when it comes to Tyrese, when it comes to the court system, when it comes to women versus men, and there's a war going on outside, no man is safe from. You know what I mean? These red pill, pink pill, blue pills, all this bubblegum shit, right? One which I don't subscribe to. I'm on the side of right, and wrong is wrong. And you can come out in your own way, like Ghost and Ray on the Purple Tape. But anyway, he was going through his case, and his girl, or his ex-wife rather, not his girl, Samantha Lee, Kareem Akbar, and she is the true leader of the CNB. And if I'm going down, I'm taking all you motherfuckers with me. All of a sudden, I don't know why, like in the last 2 months, maybe a month and change, she been on my timeline crazy. She been on the timeline crazy. All of a sudden, she's the new fucking guru of relationships, right? And at first, I didn't know who she was. When you look in the comments, you actually see a lot of people was like me. They're like, damn, I didn't know that was Tyrese's ex-wife. I didn't know that, people didn't know. You know what I mean? Now we know. And so she's doing a lot of relationship advice, talking about relationships, how to keep a man, how to be submissive to a man, what a high value man to accept, what he won't, this and that, you know what I mean? And now that the cat is out the bag, that's his ex-wife, and she took him to court, she left the relationship, and we come to find out in these YouTube spaces that men have now, because a lot of men's spaces it wasn't afforded to us. You have a lot of women's spaces, a lot of women movies, a lot of women narratives being spun in the media. Now through these red pill sectors and these little YouTube channels, you got a lot of men speaking up, and I applaud that shit. You know what I mean? Because there's certain things as a grown man that I wish I would have knew in my early 20s, before I got married, after I got married, female nature, friend zone, how women play niggas, etc. And not to say that women shouldn't know how guys play women either. We should know. Information is power, especially when it's acted upon. But anyway, with that being said, all these channels, all these videos, all these clips, that's spinning in the clip, as I like to say. Come to find out, she Tyree X, she took him to court. If you follow his page on YouTube, or not YouTube, but Instagram, and it's a lot of people reposted it on YouTube. That's why I seen it at. And he talking about, how he went to court. The case is settled now, the child support case, and how he got to pay over $600,000, $200 in back child support and child support, but then the other $400,000 is for back lawyer fees, etc. How she got 2 firms representing her, how he had a prenuptial agreement, how the judge is this fucking scumbag doing shit that's unethical, and not legally right. You know what I mean? And so this is why I want to talk about this. One, for the men, that if this can happen to well-known men that's established, men that's at the top of their field, and they could get done dirty, what you think gonna happen to you? You ain't got no good lawyers. You don't got no real knowledge of the law. You're ignorant. You're stupid. You don't really know what's going on. You was living for the moment. Now you in child support court. Now the chick is dictating everything, and we know the system is rigged. That's another thing that these channels, even though I don't subscribe to the red pill, to the manosphere, I do believe that what's being said, it's not women hate. It's not niggas hating women and it's more rhetoric. Some of this stuff needs to be said, because I see it in my own family. I won't put nobody on blast, but I had an aunt, did her ex-husband filthy, took his pension, took half of what he had. She ain't helped build none of that shit. It just is what it is. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna keep it a buck. She did him dirty. His kids was, they was looking at my aunt with the side eye, ready to fuck her up. Like, damn, why you do our father like that? And that's because we uneducated on how the system works. So because these channels exist now on these social media platforms, I think that's a good thing. I would want my son, if I had, one, or my small boys who I helped raise, that's not my son, my little cousins, my little nephews, I would want them to hear this information from other men that been through certain situations and certain circumstances, and say, oh yeah, I got done like this in court. They ain't give a fuck that I was doing the right thing. They didn't give a fuck that I had all my ducks in a row. And they violated the law and still did me like this. That needs to be said. That story needs to be told. So I don't care how you feel, sisters, ladies in the back, and where the ladies at. Where the ladies at. This story needs to be told. So Tyrese is just the latest example. He's in the spotlight. He's a celebrity. He well known, you know what I mean? And obviously he got the what have you done for me and all this and all that. So come to find out the judge is a scumbag. He doing shit that's unethical. They making him pay all this money. And you know, his ex-wife is on the internet posing that she for black men, posing that she's for men when she's really not. She really doing them filthy. She really got the court system in her favor like it is for a lot of, you know, divorces. And I went through a divorce. You know, y'all know I'm not an angel on the channel. Granted, I don't have a whole lot of money. I didn't have a whole lot of money. I don't have shit. So I didn't go through all of the trials and tribulations. I didn't have my wife trying to take everything from me. It was a amicable split. We shook hands and we said woo woo woo. We tired of this shit. We divorced and we was good. But for people that got money, for people that got assets, you need to be educated. In fact, in my opinion, and this might shock some people, you don't need to get married in the court of America. You don't need to be going to no courts in America, get married if you have some assets. You don't. That's just my opinion. You can feel how you want to feel. Get married in the eyesight of God. Do it under the you know, the laws of God, and be happy with that. If you in love and she love you and she for you, she gonna be cool with that. Because it's no out. It's no get out of jail card. There's no break up this happy home or this home, you know, irreconcilable differences is now I'm taking half from you. Now I'm demanding more than half of the shit that I didn't even contribute to. Now I'm going to break up the kids and move them and, you know, do all this other bubblegum shit. And, you know, when you listen to his whole, you know, his whole spiel, if you will, of how the court and the judge is doing shit that's unethical, you say, damn, how is the judge pulling this shit? How was the judge able to get away with this shit when this shit is not even backed up by law? And you got a whole two firms that's representing her saying, you know, instead of, he was saying it's like a master person or it's a person she hired that wanted to, you know, look over the case and do something with the case. And again, his live was like a whole 40 minutes. So, you know what I mean? It's just a lot of stuff to unpack. But he was like, I didn't ask for it. They making me pay 100% of what she asked for, holding me in contempt when she asked for the shit. She making well enough money to pay for this shit, but they not making her pay for it. And then the reason that they saying on record, in court, on record, is because they like her? That they think she's a good person? What? $500,000? Are you kidding me? Like, this shit is, you know, and this is just one of the double standards that's in their favor and not in ours, as far as men. Because we men, ain't we? Right, because we men, ain't we? This needs to be addressed. This needs to be head on, you know what I mean? Like, going that straight head on. You know what I mean? Approaching this full course, moving forward. And the only way we're going to do that is by having educated brothers, not ignorant brothers, not brothers that don't know the law, not brothers that don't know what the fuck they talking about or the fuck they do. What up, Mike? Not brothers like that. Brothers that's lawyers, brothers that's been through the storm, been through situations of divorce and child support and the system doing them however they want to do them. We need brothers like that. We need laws to change, not only in Atlanta. Tyrese was like, yo, they using California law in Atlanta. How is that even possible? What sub law and, you know, what statutory of law that you using? You using a whole nother state that's regulated and governed by different laws than Atlanta. You using those laws to govern me, to fuck me, and pretty much that's why a lot of brothers is on some, what is it, SYSMB, Save Yourself Black Man, or some passport bro shit. And you could like it, you could love it, you could dread it, and you could run from it, but destiny arrives all the same. And this is another thing, ladies. For the ladies that are good ladies, and I'm sure there's plenty of good sisters, and I know a lot of them. I rock with them. I'm rooting for you. I hope you don't get caught up with a scumbag nigga that do you dirty. Same way I hope a brother don't get caught with a scumbag chick like Miss Samantha Lee / Gibson to one of the brothers I know, or one of my family members. But we need to hear your voices voiced on backing the brothers like, yeah, the court system is fucked up. The court system is rigged like sports. For those that's in the back that didn't know sports was rigged, yeah, sports is rigged just like the court system. So if you a dude that's worth, something, and you build yourself up, if you got to go through the court system, you're going to get done dirty. You're going to get done so dirty. You know what I mean? You're going to come out on the other end like my eyes and my ass was handed to me. You know what I mean? Like Nasser, you know what I mean? Going through a divorce, how it feel when, the person you loved and you said I do with, taking half. Not only half your livelihood, no, half on that Life is Good. That Life is Good album is fire by Nas. A lot of people slept on that album. Life is good, life is good. When he was talking about Khalees and his divorce from her and how it transpired, why it transpired. And we know women leave marriages or relationships more than men, and men to stick it out. You know what I mean? It's women that's like, I'm not happy, and she's never happy. You know what I mean? And oh, how happy, like she's never happy. They gonna bounce and burn it up on you. We need to not only change the law and get some legislation passed in that regards, but we also need to get the mandatory paternity test passed for men having babies, because we know oftentimes Jerry Springer, who just died, and the Maury, and you are not the father, and the lie detector determines that was a lie. We know plenty of women that's duping niggas. They got them niggas on the rope like Ali did to George Foreman. So he, withered out, and then he, knocked him out and did him dirty. You getting done dirty in the court system because you're uneducated, you're unaware, you're just not in the know, you're not in the loop, and the system is rigged. So until we get, some power hitters and people like, Anthony Crump or Attorney Crump or whoever, speaking in our favor, we're going to continue to get done dirty. But we've been on here for, we've been on here for a little minute. I told you I had time, and it is what it is. Most of the shit going to get chopped up and broken down in the videos. But for right now, you know what it is. It's your guy, Popovich. Y'all was just tuned in. Popovich TV, that's my show. We live, we rolling, we unscripted, we authentic, that feeling. Back up in here one more again. Yeah, kid.